Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effy and today we are back with a palette play video. This is the third palette play video in my series and I've been really enjoying it. The palette we are using today was picked at the end of my last video. I will insert the clip of me picking it now. Here is the tin and I'm going for this one. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see that we've got the Revolution Wild Integrity palette, so I look forward to playing with that next. And here is the palette, it is the Revolution Integrity Wild Animal palette or something like that. This is what it looks like. As always, I will give you my thoughts and opinions on the palette at the start before I do the 3 looks, so you can know how I'm feeling about it to begin with. I will then do one look on this eye, one look on this eye, take them both off, do a third look with you on camera, then go off camera, catch up my face, do the other eye, and come back and give you my final thoughts on the palette after doing 3 looks with it. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if this palette is actually still available on the Revolution website. I'm not sure if they discontinued it, but that's fine. It's in my collection, so it's good to have a video on it anyway. This series is being run so that I can get some use out of my palettes and so that I have a standing video that I can point to every time I use a palette in the future. Like I said, this is the 3rd look that I've done. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of all the looks I do in this video. I would love to hear it. But other than that, I will stop rambling and let you enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and it is all makeup content here. So if that sounds like your type of thing, then this is the place for you. Hit that subscribe button down below. It's completely free and puts a giant smile on my face. But other than that, I will let you enjoy the video. So here is the palette. It's got a lot of bright colours in there, a lot of mattes, a lot of shimmers. I will say I already don't think the shimmer formula is my favourite. My opinion on this palette right now is that I don't reach for it. The shimmers aren't my favourite. The mattes don't really have the best blending colours. Like, I need more shades, I need more blending out shades. I just don't feel inspired when I look at this palette, and I originally bought it because I thought it was very colourful and bright and it looked amazing, and there are some beautiful colours in here. Like this green is stunning, but it just doesn't work well enough for my liking. That's my current thoughts at the beginning. As always, I will give my thoughts again at the end of the video to see if anything's changed. The looks I'm thinking of doing, I know I've done a sunset eye every single time I've done a palette play video, but come on, there's a red, an orange and a yellow. I kind of have to do a sunset eye. So I'm going to do a sunset eye. I'm also thinking of like a very dark smoky eye, sort of sticking to these shades down here. And then also I want to use sort of the blue, the turquoise, and throw in some shimmers in there as well. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to zoom you in and I'm going to get started on my sunset eye first. I've already primed my eyes using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Eye Primer, and now we're going to make a start. To make this a little bit different from all the other sunset looks I've done so far in this series, I'm going to start with yellow on the inner corner and then go out into orange and then red, instead of it just being a sort of smoky eye sort of situation. And then we will cut the crease and put a shimmer on it. So let's make a start. And I'm starting with the yellow shade. I don't think this palette has any names to the shades, so I'm just going to be holding it up and pointing to them. That's a very nice vibrant yellow. I'm sorry the lighting isn't the best today, it's a bit gloomy outside and I use natural lighting, but that yellow's gone on really nicely. So now just on the same brush I'm going into the orange. Again, very bright, very vibrant. It looks really nice on the eyes. And now I'm going in with the red shade. So those are my 3 colours on just initially. I'm going to now go back through and blend them all out a little bit, blend them together a bit better, create a softer line around the edge, all those good things. As you can see, the colours are all very vibrant, they're all very pigmented, they work very well, they've blended together nicely. I just wish there were more shades. I would like to put a darker shade through my crease just to help almost blend them together and define my crease a little bit more, but unless I want to use a black, there's no option for that. Typically I would go in with a brown, and it's pretty much the only reason I would ever use a brown, but there isn't a brown in this palette, and that's where my issue is. The shades are nice, it's almost like not enough thought has been put into the colour scheme with this palette, and that kind of annoys me. I would say that it's not got enough shades in it to be a proper rainbow palette, but I've got proper rainbow palettes with exactly this number of shades and they work so much better. Yeah, I kind of just wish there was like a dark brown sort of shade, but there's not. And there's not really one in here I can use. I'm not going to go in with the black because I will just end up messing up the look. All I'm going to do now is, first of all, pull those shades along my lower lash line in exactly the same order, and then cut my crease. Cut creases on. Now I've got to pick a shimmer shade. I already know I don't particularly like the shimmers. I think part of the problem for me is that a lot of the shimmers are very dark. This is a dark shimmer, these two are dark shimmers, this one's a dark shimmer. The green's dark, but I can accept it because it's a green and I love greens. And I personally prefer a much lighter shimmer. I don't really know which one to go for. As always, I'm just going to put some on my fingers and see how we feel about them. Okay, so I've picked 4 options. I think the pink is a little bit too similar. The lilac could work, but I might use that for a different look, so I might go for the green. I think it'll give a nice contrast. Let's go for the green. That is the shimmer applied, completely dry. It's got pigment to it. It looks nice, it's vibrant, it's colourful. It just doesn't have much shimmer to it. It's more of almost, I think they're called metallic shades, is that it? I don't know. Where it's sort of just like a sheen instead of a shimmer. I prefer a shimmer, and I feel like that could be the reason why I don't reach for this palette very much, other than the other reasons I've stated. I just don't think the shimmers are my sort of shimmers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wet it with a setting spray and see if that helps at all. But when I started this series, I didn't state this as a rule because I haven't needed to until now. But I think I'm not going to limit myself to just using the palette. If I want to add a colourful liner, a liquid glitter shadow, I think I'm going to allow myself to do that. So I'm going to wet this, try and see if I can get more shimmer to it. But if not, I am going to try and pick out a liquid glitter, something that will help give it a bit of pizzazz, just because I want to like the looks. So I'm going to do that. Let's wet the shade first. As suspected, wetting it didn't really do much. It does have a nice sheen to it. It looks very nice. It's just, for me, I prefer a shade with a bit more glitter to it. So what I'm going to do now is try and blend this outer corner. Now, because I've picked red and green to go next to each other, which is my bad, I am going to need something in between them, and I think that something is going to be this shimmer shade. I'm just going to take a very small amount of it and just pat it along the line and then blend it. I don't have any sort of liquid glitter products that are this level of green, so I'm actually going to go in with this, which I know looks a little bit blue, but I'm only going to be using a light amount of it. This is the Collection Glam Crystals Dazzling Gel Liner in the shade Le Freak 5, and all I'm going to do is, using the applicator it comes on, is just sort of paint a little bit of glitter over that green shade. There we go. I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I just prefer having a little bit more something on my lid. Overall, this look just isn't my favourite. It looks very sort of basic, and I know that a lot of people will like the blend that I've got going on from the yellow to the red, but this is the sort of look that I would have done maybe 2-3 years ago when I was just starting in makeup and I didn't know that I prefer looks that have a bit of depth through them. It's just not my favourite. But what I'm going to do now is chuck on a brow and a lash and mascara and all that stuff, and then I'll come back and give you a close-up of this look so you can see it. So this is the final look. I've put on quite a big lash basically to try and hide it. I'm sorry if my lash is peeling, I've been struggling with it. I like the look, I like the colours. I just think this looks like something I would have done a couple of years ago, and I think I could do this look so much better now with a different palette. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should challenge myself to recreate this look, but just do it better. I like the fact that I was able to add some glitter to the lid. I think the shimmer shades aren't that bad. They do have pigment to them. They're just not what I would typically reach for. But anyway, let's move on to the other eye. I'll quickly prime it and then we'll get started. So for this eye, I'm going to sort of stick to these darker shades down here. I'm thinking of just doing a pretty standard smoky eye, because it has all the shades I would need for a smoky eye, theoretically. Let's see how it goes. Although I will say, looking at this now, I kind of wish there was a matte white or even a matte cream. If one of these two shades was matte, I think that would help a lot. So I'm going to start with the dark blue. That's actually a really nice shade, and it's working a lot better than I thought it would. Okay, consider me a little bit shocked. So now on a fluffier brush, I'm going in with the sort of grey shade. I may have made a mistake, so that is definitely some sort of shimmer shade. I'm not sure what sort of shimmer shade, because it's not very shimmery, it's just sort of got sheen to it. So what I'm going to do now is abandon that plan, and I'm just going to go in with the blue, and that's just going to be my palest shade. This is going to go badly, I can already tell you that. I really don't like it, so what I'm actually going to do is remove it, put back on that really dark blue shade, blend it out with the other blue shade, and I will come back because I'm not enjoying what's happening on my eyes right now. Okay, I'm back. Feeling a little bit better about it. I mean, it's still not amazing. I kind of wanted to keep this a little bit more grey toned, but obviously I've had to use the blue, which is fine. Overall, just not having a good time with this palette at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is go in with the black all over my lid. As expected, it's not the best black, but it has done a decent enough job. All I'm going to do now is go back through those three shades and just blend them a little bit more. It's not terrible. I'm trying to convince myself it's not that bad. It's not terrible is what I'm going to go with. Now, I have three options for a dark shimmer shade to go all over my lid. I have this one here, which is a dark grey. I have a dark blue, and I have this sort of dark purple. I'm kind of feeling the dark purple, just because it's darker than the blue, but not as boring as the grey. I might go in with the grey all over and then a little bit of the purple just in the centre just to get a little bit different. But if I prefer the purple, I'm going in with the purple all over. I will also just pull those same shades along my lower lash line. I'm sorry my lower lash line's being super boring today. This palette just isn't inspiring me. I'm sorry. Right, first of all, that's actually a really nice shimmer. It almost has a little bit of blue to it, which is super nice and interesting. If they just made it more glittery, I'd be so much more into it, and it's really frustrating. But I'm still going to go in with a little bit of the dark purple just in the centre to see how it looks. That's a beautiful shade. Again, if it was just more glittery, I'd adore it. I'd be reaching this palette so much more. Those two shimmer shades I've used are actually really nice. It's just such a shame that I'm probably going to get rid of this palette. There's no point lying about it. I'm probably going to declutter it when I declutter my makeup. It's probably going to go. But it does look nice. Those two shimmer shades and those two shimmer shades only. I'm also just going to go in with a little bit of the lilac on my inner corner as well. This look is frustrating because I actually liked the first matte shade we used, the sort of dark blue. The other blue is fine, it's worked well enough. The shimmers I actually quite like, they might be my favourite shimmers out of this entire palette. It's just not enough to make me want to keep it. And I wouldn't wear this look often enough to keep it either. It's a nice enough look, and if it was on both eyes, it would probably look really nice with like cool toned lip. Even a black lip would look amazing. What I'm going to do now is do a brow and a lash, and we'll come back and do a close-up, and then we will take both of these off and do a final look. Here it is, look number 2. I think the shimmers look really nice. I think the mattes actually worked quite nice too. It's just not enough for me to keep the palette. As always, let me know down in the comment section which look is your favourite. This is look number 1, which you've already seen. This is look number 2, and I'm going to take these both off and do look number 3 in a moment. But I do like this look. It is the sort of look I would wear. It's just that I could get this look out of so many other palettes I own. It's not enough to make me want to keep this palette, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm going to go take off both of these looks and come back and do a third one with you. We are bare again, and for the final look I'm thinking of going for the blue, the turquoise and this shade, but I'm not sure if this shade is a bit like that grey shade, so I might be a bit cautious on that one, but we'll see how we go. And then I'm thinking of using the lilac as my lid shade, but like I said, we'll see as we go. We are primed, and I'm going to start with this blue over here. Already knew this was a good shade, so we're just going to carry on. It has worked very nicely just there. And now I'm going to go in with this sort of like tealy green shade down here. That's actually a really nice, really pigmented shade. The mattes are nice and pigmented, that's the problem. They are nice and pigmented. Is this a sheeny shade? Let me feel like that does have a sheen to it. So maybe I shouldn't put it on my brow bone. So instead I'm going to change directions a little bit and actually go in with a little bit of the yellow as my final blending out shade, because I think that should work quite nicely. I get the feeling this is going to need a little bit of blending, and by a little bit I mean quite a lot, but I'm hoping it is salvageable. So what I'm going to do now is just try and blend those 3 shades as much as possible. that is looking so much better. I actually think those shades blend relatively quite nicely together. What I'm going to do now is go in with the darkest blue that I actually quite liked earlier. And I'm also just going to go in with a tiny bit of the black just to deepen it up even more. And one final blend through all those shades. Okay, I'm actually kind of liking these colours together. It's looking very tropical, very nice, very sort of like beachy, in my mind at least. I'm just going to quickly cut my crease again. Okay, my camera cut out at some point, so I don't know where I got up to, but I've cut my crease now, and I'm going to go in with the lilac shade, this one. It's actually a really nice shade. It almost has an icy blue sort of reflect to it, which I really like. Again, just wish it was more glittery. I just want glitter. What I'm going to do now is just go in with a little bit of this dark shimmery purple and a bit more of that matte black just to blend the outer edge. And then I'm going to go off camera, catch up the other eye, do my base, do a lower lash line again. It's going to be pretty simple, I'm sorry. And then I'll come back and do final thoughts on the palette now that I've used it for 3 different looks. There we go. That's blended out a little bit better. They don't blend together very well, that's another thing I'm noticing. But now I'm going to go off camera, do my base, catch up the other eye, and we'll do final thoughts. I'm back, and I know a couple of you are going to be wondering why I went for a red lip. I went for a red lip because I felt like a red lip. I don't have many purple lips. I think I have one blue lip and it wouldn't have matched. I don't have any green lips. I don't have any yellow lips. So I just thought, why not go bold? We've got bold, colourful looks on the eyes. Who says you can't have a bold, colourful look on the lip too? So let's talk about the palette. Overall, I've come up with 3 looks that I relatively like. I feel like they could all be done better with different palettes. That's where the real issue is. This is a nice enough palette. It works fine. The mattes work fine. The shimmers work fine for what they are. They're not my favourite formula, but they're pigmented and they definitely have a sheen to them and they look really nice on the eyes. I just don't reach for this palette. And I have found a few shades in this palette that I have enjoyed using. I've enjoyed the dark purple, the dark grey, the dark blue. They're all nice shades. This teal shade is really nice as well. I do like them, but the palette altogether isn't enough to make me want to keep it. On top of that, I already have pretty much all of these shades. Even the shades that I said I like this shade is very similar to one I have in the Beauty Bay Sunset Horizons palette. This one I probably have 1,000 times over. The dark blue I definitely have. The teal I definitely have. And as much as I have enjoyed the looks I've created today, I just feel like I said, they could all be done better with different palettes. And I think I will challenge myself to redo that first look with a different palette and see if I prefer it. But yeah, it's a nice palette. I don't even know if they still sell this, if I'm being perfectly honest. But it is nice. It's just such a shame because it could be so much better. I'm going to quickly give a close-up of this eye look so you can fully see it. I will say they don't 100% match, so I'm pretty much just going to show you this one. But they are pretty much the same, they just don't match perfectly. Here it is. I quite like the shades. This is a sort of colour scheme I would go for anyway. I quite like it. I just think I could do it better with another palette, which is kind of the theme of this one. So there we go, those are my final thoughts on the palette. Let me know what you think of this palette. Let me know what you thought of the 3 looks I created. Let me know which one is your favourite, obviously, I love hearing that. Also, let me know if you have this palette. I feel like I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I haven't seen anybody use it on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. So I feel like it's kind of forgotten about. I'm not sure if it's been discontinued, it may have been. And if it has, I kind of get why, because you can get better rainbow palettes from Revolution, which is where this palette is from. You can get better ones from them anyway. This one just isn't the best. I don't think it's been thought through enough. Oh, I haven't picked the new palette. This is the tin where I keep a little piece of paper. On each piece of paper is the name of one of my palettes. I pick one out at random, and that is a palette I'll be using in the next video. The reason I do it at the end of this video is to give myself time to think of what looks I want to do with it. So let's pick out our next palette. Look away so nobody thinks I'm cheating. We'll go for this one. I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to give you a zoomed in look. There we go, it is the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. So the next palette I'll be playing with in this series will be the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I am sorry that I've had 2 Beauty Bay palettes relatively close together. It's not by choice, I promise. But the Beauty Bay palette will be the next one I use. I'm really excited, I quite like this palette. But there we go. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and they are always makeup content, so if that sounds like your type of thing, then this is the place for you. So hit that subscribe button down below. It's absolutely free and puts a giant smile on my face. But I will let you go. Have a great day and an amazing week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.